Why radical? We build race cars. We race iconic tracks. We set lap records. We build friendships.
3, 4.
We create champions. We make racers.
Ever witnessed someone so fast on track you doubt you could ever be on their level? The mission of Advanced Motorsports is to demonstrate the speed is achievable for everyone. With the expertise of some of the best sim drivers in North America, we are set to release free content on social media and comprehensive guides on our website. For those seeking the ultimate experience, our Advanced Motorsport Institute and personalized coaching sessions are the way to go. No matter your level of experience, we invite you to follow us on our social media to learn to be fast.
Hey there, I'm Nicholas Dubois, co-founder of Advanced Sim Racing. We are a Canadian company. So what we did here today is for a real petrol head. He's really passionate about cars, as you can see behind me. We did a turnkey solution for him based on his needs. We try to gather as much information as we can on our client. And like we did today, we install a D-Box system. We install ultra-wide cube control steering wheel. We try to provide the best quality for your budget. So let's say if you want a budget of 10 grand, we're gonna give you something that's the best for 10 grand. If you want 20 grand, then we always try to stay within your boundaries. We do try to make it as easy as possible. So the client, once we install everything, it's pretty much gonna be a turnkey. So he's gonna press start on his computer, and right after, we'll try to explain everything, how it goes, how it works, and then he's ready to go. Our aluminum is from USA, treated in Canada, cut in Canada. So we do sand all our aluminum piece just to make sure the powder coat sticks to it. And that's one of the reasons why we use powder coat, is to make sure you have the best aluminum finish in the industry. And our quality is beyond what you can get with any other competitors right now. We are really, really passionate about all the gear, all the cockpits, all the sim hardware, and that's why we want to create something that's really going to reflect our passion into our product. Come visit us at advancedsimracing.com. You can always reach us if you have any questions. You can call us, you can text us, you can go on Facebook, like our page, ask us questions over there, and we'll make sure to answer every questions there is. We are very passionate about what we do, and we try to make it as easier for you to go into the sim racing world, because there's a lot of gear, there's a lot of options, but let us guide you through your process, and let's hope you'll be an Advanced Sim Racing customer.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Live from iRacing's virtual Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in Bowmanville, Ontario, we say good afternoon, sim racing fans, and welcome to the 8th and final week of this 2023-24 BiS Radical Cup Canada Series. We return to where things started back in November of last year, to Mosport for the championship race as we get set to crown both a pro, an AM, and a team title. And as always, happy that you're spending your Wednesday evening with us here on Podium, where as always, my name is Evan Pasoko, joined tonight in the booth by Rachel Whiteford, and our producer is Christian Hill. And Rachel, we have been here before. This is the only track on this calendar that it gets a double dip, and we return to the season opener, the backyard home for many of these Canadian iRacers, and tonight it plays host to the hardware going to be being handed out in about 2 hours' time.
Certainly does, and it's a fantastic track for it, Evan. Great to see everyone here tonight, of course. This Radical is a tricky vehicle, and a fantastic place to wrap the season here at Mosport. A track that is very much like a roller coaster course for these high downforce single-seaters.
Of course, tonight's broadcast and none of our other shows all season long would be possible without the big thanks to all of our presenting sponsors, and we'll give them all a shout out now. Of course, it all starts at the top with Radical Canada East. Are you ready to elevate your racing experience? Join the M-Zone Radical Cup Canada, where the thrill of the track meets the camaraderie of a true motorsports community. If you're interested, you can contact Robert Burgess. That's Robert at radicalcanada.ca. for more information. Tonight's broadcast also brought to you by our friends at M-Zone. M-Zone Auto Care offers premium quality products for the maintenance, care, and cleaning of cars, trucks, boats, and other vehicles and equipment. Learn more at emzone.ca. As well, coverage tonight brought to you by FEL Motorsports. FEL has over 3 decades of experience in executing premium automotive events for top-tier manufacturers across Canada and the United States. Learn more at felmotorsports.com. And of course, BiS does not end with the championship here tonight, because coming this spring is the BiS IndyCar Championship. If you're interested in getting on track and participating, scan the QR code on your screen now. Join the BiS Discord for more information. If not, we'll hope to see you tuning in a couple of weeks' time when that one rolls around. But we are not yet ready to put this Radical Cup Canada Series in our back pocket. We enter tonight for the championship race with a lot on the line, both in a overall championship capacity, of course, the pro, the AM, and the team, though. And these are the storylines we are going to watch today. It is a 27-point advantage for Austin Milwain over Alex Ellis in the Pro Championship. Rachel, it's a hearty margin, but it is not a mathematical lock, so the 14 still with work to do. On the AM Championship, much tighter. A 2-horse race, Zach Buchanan only 10 ahead of Tim Salvatore.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really close for those guys. It's going to make things very interesting when we come into this one. You can have battles for both those pro and AM classes. I'm really excited to see how this one goes.
And of course, the combined points from the pro and the AM drivers will feed into the team's championship as well. It's no shock that, say, Tim Salvatore, for example, second in the AM championship, means that if he's having a good year, so is Race Sim Canada. They are the team's championship leaders, 16 points over Evolve SimSport. Evolve's been having a pretty good year on the pro side of things, with their drivers in Milwain and Haynes being first and third in the standings as they sit now. But let's look at the schedule, and it's not necessarily a look forward, it's more of a look back, Rachel, at all of the racetracks that we've been to. Again, it was November 15th where we started the year here at Mosport. It was Suelio Amida who won the race for the pro category. It was Hunter Reeve who took home a race win in the AM classes. But since then, we have bounced across the world with a trip overseas to Donington and then all over North America on its road here to this Round 8 championship with some real exciting tracks.
Oh, absolutely. We've had Sebring, Donington, Kota, Laguna Seca, Road Atlanta, Watkins Glen, and back here to Mosport. Just a fantastic list of tracks for this season. All these places really lend themselves to how that Radical runs. Mosport, I think, is going to be the tightest, twistiest dogfight of this season.
And Watkins Glen was a big one a couple of weeks ago. That's when Tim Salvatore took both of the category race wins for the AM drivers. That's why that championship battle between he and Zach Buchanan is as tight as it is. Let's talk more, though, about this racetrack in specific. And again, there's no shocker with the heavy Canadian influence in the field here tonight that we go back up north to Bowmanville and to iRacing's Canadian Tire Motorsports Park for a second time this season. This racetrack was designed and built in the late 1950s on the rolling wooded sandhill country just about 50 miles east of Toronto. This racetrack is 10 turns, 2.459 miles in length, and is widely regarded as one of the most daunting road courses on the planet, owing to an abundance of ultra-fast blind corners, many of which feature really dramatic elevation changes.
Yeah, they absolutely are. It's also very narrow now, of course, in real life, much wider with the runoff, of course. But in the layout we have here in iRacing, it is treacherous, Evan. You get a wheel off track here, you are done for, and this place will punish you hard. But it really funnels the drivers, of course. This first section down, of course, into the 2, 2, 3, 4 complex, down to Moss at the bottom, 5A and B there. It is a chute that packs cars in there before shooting them out of that double apex right up the Andretti Straight, where we have big speeds.
Big speeds, big passing opportunities. We saw that even just a week ago when we were talking about points championships in the F1600s here on a Wednesday night. Story tonight is how will the Radicals play in their final trip out. Let's talk tonight's format. It's going to be what we've seen all season long, but we'll walk you through it in case it's maybe your first time joining us. Right now, a 20-minute open qualifying session is underway, and then we'll get ready for one of two races. First is a 15-minute sprint race with the grid set, you guessed it, by that 20-minute qualifying session. When that sprint race is done, we'll hand out points. It is a max of 12 to the sprint race winner. And then we will invert the top 10 and go for the feature race. Twice as long, 30 minutes, inverted top 10, and a pit stop required. But Rachel, that's where the big points are available, because you go from 12 available for the win in the sprint to 25 on the line. That could be championship deciding points in a race 2.
You really could. And looking at the qualifying times right now, Salvatore is looking really strong with this. His speed, a 111.581. It's only 700s off on Ode Genest. This could be really tight here. This track will decide a lot of this. There is draftability on the Andretti Straight there, so you can have that impact things. And you will not be able to escape at a track like this. You don't get away from the track. You do not, especially, get away from traffic.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to shake cars loose. And you may ask, with the Pro and the AM Championship happening at the same time, how do you tell who's who? Well, just keep an eye for those class distinctions. Not likely to see a lot of green on track. You're going to be looking for the yellow drivers. Those are the Pro category drivers. The red drivers, so the red indicators on the car, are going to be the AM drivers. There is no difference in the cars themselves. They are all driving these Radical SR10s. The only difference is those classes designated based on iRating. So in theory, you could just as easily have a red highlighted driver get the win as opposed to a yellow. Those indicators also going to be on the scoring pylon on your screen all night long, Rachel. And you've touched on the trickiness and the veracity of these SR10s. 425 brake horsepower, turbocharged Ford engines, 6-speed sequential shifters. It's a mid-engine rear-wheel drive race car. Fixed setups as well is a big takeaway from the dynamic we'll see on track in these things.
It really is. It makes this a very even field where we'll see the talent really come from the drivers here, not who has the best setup, but who can handle this thing on a track like this, which will punish you for mistakes. We'll see wheel-to-wheel dogfighting, and we will see an absolute duel. I'm looking forward to this race.
And we've been teasing it for the last couple of months, but tonight is the night in which we know who's going to walk away with the grand prize, and that is a real-world Radical experience, the thrill of a lifetime, and experience a genuine Radical race car, courtesy of Robert Burgess and Radical Canada. That is not only going to go to maybe the one highest scoring driver, that will go to both the champions of the Pro and the AM classes, so equal prizing on the line in drivers in equal cars, I think, is the best thing. And no better way to tie this in than maybe getting behind the wheel of one of these radicals in the real world when it comes to handing out those championship prizes. I think that just about gets all of you set for this one. Final seconds of qualifying ticking away. 20-minute open session will draw to a close in 2, 1, and with that, qualifying is complete. And let's go trackside and take a look at your starting grid for the sprint race here in round number 8 at Canada's home of motorsports. So Kevin Norris will start from pole, and Suelio Almeida will be on the outside of the front row and starting in position number 2. Arnaud Genet inside row 2 and 3rd, with Timothy Salvatore outside rolling from 4th. Back at row number 3, P5 tonight goes to Zach Buchanan, with Michael Broomhead in the number 6 spot. Back on row number 4, Curtis James is starting tonight in P7. Ozzie Milwain alongside in 8th. And then back on row 5, P9 on the grid to Matthew Howard. And it'll be Joey Haynes, Rachel, rounding out our top 10.
Sunny Will 11th place tonight is Diego Zuccarelli, with Eric Harmon on his outside for row number 6. Row 7 is John Benelade, with on his outside Assad Nikodambev. I do apologize if I mispronounced that one there. We have Clovis Girard behind them in 15th. We have Daniel Salmon there, Mr. Zippy in 16th. Richard Swindellis in 17th. Sam Triantopoulos.
There you go, yeah,
place.
we got some long ones here.
We'll get some of these. Gave me the tough names here. The top 10, nice and easy to pronounce.
Yeah.
Graham Loban in 19th. Cedric Ohayon in 20th. We have behind them the last 4, but not least, Robert Covey, Robert Burgess, Stephen Sutherland, and Phil Amaro. Everyone that would have been Evans was so easy to say.
Funny how that works out, right? No coincidence in that one. And it's a look top to bottom at your full starting grid as we get lined up behind the iRacing safety car. That kind of leads to the next point that I was going to bring up is rolling starts as well. So we'll kind of get a nice scenic lap of this Canadian Tire Motorsports Park and talk a little bit more about some of those track characteristics that we had kind of teased there in the open as cars are on grid and they roll. So they'll head down this relatively short front stretch. Right-hander turn here, turn number 1. You'll see the pit lane left-hand side of our screen, driver's right. That's where drivers will blend out. That'll be a storyline when we go racing in the feature where there is a pit stop required. And then they'll go to Clayton Corner. It's classified as turn 2 and turn 2A. I think it's just turn 2, but it's kind of a long sweeping, almost a double apexer of sorts. I think that's where it gets that titling from. Downhill out of 2. They'll swing through Quebec Corner. This is the right-hander here. And then the backside of these kind of rhythmic section of the racetrack, Rachel, is the corner that you had mentioned, and it's the most daunting one here. High speed, almost stretch, left-hand kink, turn 4, which will set them up for Moss Corner.
It's certainly on Moss, of course, this big dive down here. You'll see them here on the track as they come through this. Under this bridge here, the Continental Bridge, and it's a big dive here. You're coming across, you're tracking out for the exit the corner, but then immediately tucking back left and braking as you go wide to set up there. So it's a big braking, so downhill, moving across and braking to set up for the entry there. This wide open entry here to 5A to Moss, and then this tight exit there. It's very much like Suzuka turn 1 and 2. And then you get this big run up here on the Andretti Straight.
And it is a long trip down the Mario Andretti straightaway, so long that the track map that I'm using to reference has enough room to put its full title twice. I don't know if I've seen that on many straightaways. Just so you know, it is still part of the same straightaway, almost long enough that you'll have opportunities to get the toe, the draft off of the exit of Moss, past somebody, and if you pass them too early, they may have an opportunity to tuck back in line and pass you back before we get down to the final set of 3 corners for the S's.
I've actually seen this happen. This can happen. The only other place I've seen it is on the Dottinger Ho on Nürburgring Nordschleife, but it can happen here. I've seen it in Skip Barber's 2 passes.
So right-hand kink for 8. These are the S's. 9's real tricky because it's going to want to spit you wide on the exit, but you've got to get back to the left quick to line it up for turn 10. That's White's Corner and the final turn on this tricky racetrack. Sprint race ready to go for the final week of this BiS Radical Cup Canada Series. Green flag in the air. It's a good jump up front for pole sitter Kevin Norris.
Great start there. Good run through first corner here. 3 wide at the back and some contact already, crashing in the midfield. Oh, heavy contact. It's the 5 car was massively involved in that. It's Diego Zuccarelli. Huge impact for him. We'll try and get a replay for you all there. He was in the middle, 3 wide there between the 08 and the 2215, sorry. He gets put out to the side. There's Harmon on the outside there, and he bounces back into the racetrack. Nothing he can do to stop that, and absolutely pile drive by the 16.
Cedric O'Hyan, somebody else who was spun around, but tough to tell if he was a part of that. Maybe he just got clipped on the way by. I counted 4 cars total involved in an accident early. Meanwhile, battle for the race lead. Here comes the draft from Suelio Almeida. Took home the Pro Class win here in Mosport earlier this year. And the 10's going to go to the race lead. But here comes Janae. Rockets from 3rd to 2nd. Thought he was going to try to go for the race lead. Instead, will stay P2. So you can notice those team cars, they look identical. Janae now 2nd in line. It's the purple and yellow car. His teammate is Caven Norris, pole sitter, now 3rd in line. And Arnaud Janae all over the bumper. Suelio Almeida trying to make a pass into one. Can't make it happen yet as they drive through where all those cars were torn up about a minute ago.
Yeah, they have. And wow, that was a big incident there. 3 wide on turn 1, lap 1. Little optimistic if you ask me. But this is racing, and it's the last of the races. Everything on the line, you got to really go for it here or go home. Almeida doing a good job of holding on to things right now. Genest in a great spot to really take advantage, but he'll have to do it as soon as he's going to. Norris and Salvatore behind him will definitely be in line here. It's a good run here by Genest. Oh, little wiggle on the exit, but he's got the run.
And he's got a decent gap back to Norris in 3rd, right? It's such a long stretch. You got to cover your 6 as well. We know Janae is going to get the run. Can Norris do anything from behind? A couple of cars slow on the exit. Battle for the race lead is on. It's for 1st. It's for 3rd. Look at the pinch to the outside. Suelio Almeida tosses it back into turn 8 and does not allow Janae to take that spot away. Aggressive, defensive maneuver for the 10 car to stay in P1.
Exactly what he needs to do with these guys behind him. Guys that are this aggressive and this hungry, he has to make his intentions known. He has to make his motivations here known. He has to let them know he's not going to go easy, and they have to work for this one.
We saw that as well in the battle for 3rd. Thought that Salvatore certainly had it lined up on Norris. Norris was able to hold him off, so both moves, we've kind of harped on the fact of how almost easy it is to get the run on this super long stretch. Well, the lead cars successfully played defense that last time. There's the left-handed kink, turn 4, double apexer, Moss corner, swing it wide, set it up, point and shoot. Long trip now down through the S's. What can Arnaud Janae do from that 2nd spot in line? You've still got about your top 6 cars separated by less than 2 seconds, unable to pull away. All the way to the right-hand side goes Almeida, and Janae, no opportunity to make a move, stays in line. The 10 car starting to figure it out.
Starting to try and do what he can for this, but the 10 is going to have to do a lot more work here because these guys behind are not falling back. We've got a good train at the start of this thing, which will keep them very busy. And we've got a good train a little bit further back here around, I believe it's going to be Nikodambarev, who is leading this grouping back here, the 230, with the 33, the 72, the 12 in that group as well, the 00. Bunch of cars really pushing up for this run here, back of your top 10.
Hey, those were some of our favorite names back there towards the tail end of the top 10 as Sam Trentopoulos was battling with Asad Nikodambev midfield. And it looks like Nikodambev gets the upper hand in that one. Trentopoulos drops out of the top 10 or so, but again, you can watch those positions jump up and down on that leaderboard. Again, the color coding on the numbers correlates with the championship. So drivers with yellow numbers in the Pro Class, drivers in the red numbers in the AM Class. And we get a chance to jump back and take a look. And let's watch all the way back to what happened with Diego Zuccarelli, Rachel. We saw this right off at the start. It involved him and so many more. We'll wind that one up on the podium. Yeah, we'll work on getting that second look. And there's the tail of it there. You see him up and in the air. And here's the 3 wide that he referenced. A little bit tight, squeezed inside. The curbs are going to upset the car on the inside and just not clear. And of course, as always in motor racing, the car who starts it drives away. That dark green car caught late was Ohio, who I saw, and that is a lot of damage. The benefit for these cars, one, fast repair. The downside is, of course, they had to take a tow to pit road. That's such a massive penalty, and there are such limited points available, especially with a huge car count in the AM class here tonight, that many of those drivers in the sprint race felt like we're already out of the points. We're not going to get back on track, and that's why the pit lane looks like a little bit of a scrapyard at the moment. To back up live, though, Raythier race leaders inside of live action, and inside of 10 minutes to go in the sprint here from Bowmanville. Almeida has been on the defensive the last 3-4 laps in a row. Can he do it again? Janae topside, but he just gets there too little too late. And I was expecting, especially when we saw that move right out of the gate, for Suelio making the pass on Caven Norris. Norris went from pole to third. I'm thinking, all right, we're going to get 2-3 lead swaps every single lap around this place. Credit is due to the 10, and some of it may be Janae and Norris thinking, right, how much is it really worth it to push and risk it in the sprint? But give credit to the 10. He's been keeping the car in his preferred lane, and without outwardly throwing big blocks or doing anything crazy, he has been making life difficult for the challengers behind him.
Yeah, it's been an impressive defensive game from him this race, more than I think I expected at a track like this. So really, really well done.
I mean, look, where do all of the championship cars sit in relation to all of this? Well, Austin Milwain, your championship leader, coming into tonight, 27 points ahead of Alex Ellis. He has scored in the number 8 spot on the racetrack, so he is in a plenty good spot, and I do not see Ellis on the racetrack, so that may help out in terms of that championship battle mightily in favor of the driver of the 14 car. Here we go again. Janae only has the outside to try. Can't make it happen there. Some side-by-side further back. Think that's a successful pass in favor of the aforementioned Ozzie Milwain, as he was able to make a pass on a Matthew Howard for P7 and one car off and into the tires. It was Curtis James from P6.
Oh, that's not going to be the result he wanted to have happen there. Really not a good idea at this time in the racetrack. So it's a bad place for that. That final corner is not ideal, but looking at this, it was just a little contact, not enough room left. The car inside, he was actually inside there, so he had to left of room. Well, he made him went round.
We have seen that accident countless times in, I can't even tell you how many different types of cars that we've raced here at Mosport. It's just the way that final section kind of lines up, right? You're trying to carry all this speed through the S's. You can kind of carry speed through 8. You can carry a little bit less through 9. But if you take speed through 9, you're just way offline for the entry to 10. And you got to get back over to the left. The bottom's going to be wide open, tantalizingly open for the cars behind you. And not the first time, not the last time in the history of this circuit that we will see an incident like that happen in turn number 10. Past halfway, though, as we've started to have a tad of attrition, some comers, some goers, mostly in the midfield. Big ups to the likes of Sandrum Topoulos, who's been able to pass 8 cars from the start of this race. Hasan Nakatembev is up 5. But amongst your leaders, not really a ton of movement. All the cars who started in the top 5 in this race run exactly in the top 5. Now, not in order, but I don't think we've had any lead changes or any change for position top 5 since the end of lap 1.
No, I think you're right. It's been pretty static there, as these guys really just running what they need to do here. They know it's going to get flipped around. They know this is smaller points. They just want a clean race here with some solid points on the board, and then go fishing in the big one.
One car you saw dive off to the pit lane, that was Curtis James, obviously damaged from the incident, struggling. He gets back to pit road, and we jump back to the leaders. Arnaud Jade, Caven Norris, a battle amongst teammates right now for 2nd and 3rd. Janae 4th in the championship. Norris right behind him in 5th. These team cars separated only by 4 points. Not necessarily in a spot to challenge for the top spot in the championship, Rachel, but any other week I'd probably say you see those identical purple and yellow cars, they'll probably be working together. I don't know if they do in the feature race. I think they might fight it out amongst themselves in that battle for 4th and 5th in the points.
Yeah, I think right now it's going to be a matter of have both cars finish here, and then the feature go to town. No team rules apply. I think that would be what I'd do if I was a team. Because it is down to them, and it's not going to be for the win, but it's going to be what matters.
There's a look back with the 40 machine as Zach Buchanan, 5th, right where he started. This battle has been going on for quite some time. Trying to get to Timothy Salvatore. Buchanan has no pressure from behind. There's the on-board look in the bottom right. I've always thought as you see him lean into the corner, I've never seen somebody lean into the corner, Rachel, on a race car that's handling well. I've always thought if you're leaning that much, you're almost trying to will it to rotate more than the car wants to.
Yeah, if you're trying to push it that hard, especially with a car like this, it will snap on you if the tires start to go anymore. So if that's the behavior we're seeing this early into a sprint race, if he gets this point of the feature before a tire swap, oh, he could get snapped loose and really lose this thing.
And you can see the gap. They're about 2.5 seconds off of those leaders. That does not look that far when you're on board with Buchanan, kind of the caboose of this top 5 breakaway. Any mistake, any battle between Almeida, Genet, and Norris, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, could allow both Salvatore and Buchanan, who we ride on board with, an opportunity to get into the mix and maybe make things a little bit spicy. Should be about 4 laps to go that time by the stripe. That's going to be kind of close to how things correlate stopwatch-wise and timer-wise as this 15-minute timed session continues to run down. And we jump back up to that next group of 3, where Suelio Almeida has led 9 laps tonight, every single one in his back pocket. What does Arnaud Genet do? Big run early on the Mario Andretti straightaway this time. Looking to the left-hand side. Suelio going to hold the middle. Now puts it in the middle. He needs some arc to be able to turn into turn 8. Keeps the foot down and again is able to drive home in front. Genet, a bit of a touch that time to the gearbox of the race leader. Maybe some frustration from the 123.
Yeah, if I was showing him the intentions here, that he's going to get a little bit more hairy as this goes on, because, yeah, that door's been masterfully kept closed by these guys. Suelio has really had a fantastic race so far. He's just given exactly the right spot to frustrate Genest.
It's exactly right. It's just frustrating him because it's tantalizingly close, but just nothing that Genet can do to this point. And again, this racetrack, quick lap times. Race leaders putting down 1 minute 12s pretty consistently already back here to the double apexer for Moss Corner and back to the straightaway once more. We have seen races prior to this season where there is a kind of very clear-cut passing opportunity like this straightaway, where drivers could get a run to make a challenge, and then it would be quite difficult for somebody to pass them back elsewhere. In some of those races, it was more of a clear-cut conversation regarding, do you want to be first or second, right? I mean, those races, Phillip Island comes to mind, some of the other ones we've seen across the BIS ranks, it was pretty obvious you could pass somebody on the straightaway, so we almost kind of knew, Rachel, you want to be second in line on the last lap. You see another look here. I mean, there are opportunities aplenty to make moves on this straightaway, as you see Howard trying to hold off Nikotimbev to the outside. This one a battle for 8th and 9th. Assad gonna make it stick outside through 8. There's still 2x2, and then Howard is able to get it back in the end. I don't think this one is quite as clear cut on you want to be second, because I think there's a case to be made for a defensive move like you saw right there.
I think that's what Alita's saying as well. He's saying you don't really want to be in that spot because you really can control this lap. However, you can also screw it up. You can definitely lose this on this straight. It is absolutely possible, so he has to be very careful what he does. He has to manage this gap.
Oh, and Assad written real aggressive there on the inside. He desperately wants to get the spot for Matthew Howard. Assad, the youngster, is not going to be somebody to shy away from going for the gap and making a move, whether it's for first, whether it's for 31st in a field of 20. He's going to give it 110% every single time, and he's going to look for it again this time as we come to the white flag. Assad's had to go to the left-hand side every single time. Howard knows to stay to the inside and defend, and here they go again. It's some 22 seconds behind the leaders, but it's some of the best stuff on track, and Howard shakes him one final time. Is this one going to continue to the last lap of the race as the white flag is in the air up front? 1 lap to go for Suelio Almeida.
Absolutely does everything he needs to do here right now. Suelio Almeida really putting a fantastic show, and this Genet and Norris right behind him, who will be the factor of this. We have some lap traffic that could be a pick here. How much more is there? That could be the important question here. And it's Mr. Daniel Zippy Salmon there. Nobody else ahead of him, though, so this will be one obstacle to get through. And I think it won't really impact our leaders too badly. Although, actually, they're catching him right where they need to. This could be the pick that Janae needs. Oh, he's out of the way. He's out of the way. Oh, he's actually around the racing line. That's the problem.
Was trying to get the draft. He was following Zippy, trying to get the draft. Zippy pulled over. Here we go. Janae to the outside. Can he stay there? No. One final look. Turn 10. Looks to the inside. Fakes to the outside. They touch. Almost a look to the inside. Side by side for a moment, but it is not enough. And Suelio Almeida, defensive, leads all 13 laps and takes home the sprint race win.
What a finish there. Fantastic running. I was just going to say before we got to the end of this thing, where Salmon went, not the place you want to be there. You want to go wide on that corner of the straight there, because that's the racing line. It's actually a lower gradient all the way to the right-hand side. You stay on the whole way up the Mario Andretti straight because it is a lower gradient. You do not want to be there as a lap car. However, they managed to make it around that. Big run in the end there, and a fantastic run in there. Janae just pipped.
Yeah, and the leaders probably made it closer than it could have been because, to your point, A, he was in the line, and B, Suelio was kind of trying to hope to get a bit of a draft off of Zippy just to kind of help him along. So he cut it close and almost kind of steered the cars who were following behind him into the slower car of Zippy. No more fireworks to the stripe. Howard, Nikodabev, Trentopoulos all crossed the line within about a second of each other for 3 spots in the midfield, but none of them were able to make it a side-by-side look, and that is it. Let's take a look at your full race results for the sprint race here at Mosport. Race win goes to Suelio Almeida. What a throwback. He won the feature here at Mosport in week 1 of this championship, and he returns to victory lane here in Bowmanville again. Final margin of victory, 0.117 seconds over Arnaud Genet P2. Kevin Norris, your pole sitter, leads no laps, settles for 3rd in that battle. Buchanan, Milwain, your top 5, with Haynes, Salvatore, Howard, Nikodabev, and Trentopoulos, the top 10.
11th place tonight, far easier for me to pronounce this time, by Broomhead. We have in 12th place, we have Graham Loban. We have Robert Covey in 13th. 14th is Daniel Salmon. Cedric Hayon 15th. Curtis James 16th place. Diego Zaccarelli in 17th place. John Benelade in 18th. Robert Burgess in 19th. Eric Harmon 20th. Behind them is Clovis Girard. We have Richard Swindells. We have Steven Sutherland and Phil Amaro.
So that's a look top to bottom at your full race results from the sprint. 12 points have been handed out to the top cars in the championship, and then we get set to do it all over again, but with 2 major changes. Invert amongst the top 10, and the race format changes. Twice as long, 30 minutes in length. It does include a mandatory pit stop. I will say, Rachel, mostly this season, the pit stop has been more of an opportunity to make a mistake than it has been an opportunity to gain, but we'll keep an eye on that as the race progresses. But the invert really is the exciting part and what'll keep this championship mixed up, because it's meaning you're going to have pro category drivers who occupied many of those top spots in the first race, and they're going to be mixed up behind some of the AM class drivers.
Yeah, they will make it. There won't be many, but it'll definitely make an interesting difference to how this is going to work. So I think we've got a chance to chat to Suelio before we get going for this thing.
Yeah, let's chat with your sprint race winner, Suelio Almeida. We'll bring him into the broadcast booth now. And Suelio, first, appreciate you giving us some time here in between races. Congratulations on the win in the sprint. I thought for sure with Arnaud and Caven kind of all over you there that eventually they were going to get you on the straightaway, but you were able to hold them off for that entire thing, including that last lap.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that the draft was pretty intense, but as soon as he got out of the draft, the wind was so strong. It was a tailwind, a headwind, and then I was just able to maintain my positioning on the inside and defend. But that last lap, that second to last corner, that was intense because I knew he was going to try something like that. The first round, we saw Alex Ellis doing that with Phil, and I knew he was going to try it, so I just got back on power, went all over the place, to not give him the space, parked on the apex, and it worked beautifully, but it was a very dangerous move because he was very close to hitting me. But I think that was the only way I could defend and win this race. So that was pretty interesting because I was thinking about that move the whole race, and it worked.
And of course, we mentioned that you got a feature race win here back in week 1 of the championship. So first off, we're happy to see you again here in these Radical SR10s. Obviously, I think most of the guys in this series have quite an affinity for Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, the Canadian track on the calendar, coming twice. But you've got 2 checkered flags now at this place. What is it that fits your driving style so much?
I think it's just a little bit of patience, really. My driving style is one of understanding and saving the tires. And it really doesn't matter to overdrive the car if you have so much draft. Unless you really nail a perfect lap and P2 makes a mistake, you're going to be stuck with them. So what I did was essentially just make sure I got a good exit on the dangerous places where he could attack. But apart from that, I was driving very safely and just taking care of the tires so that it wouldn't fall off at the second half like it did with them. So it's just a little bit of patience. Honestly, I did the whole race thinking, oh my God, how did I drive this thing in real life? It's so scary. But yeah, the patience was a big key here.
Well, to that point, too, I mean, the grand prize for the drivers who will go for the championship here is to get a real-life Radical experience with Radical Canada East, having been able to do it both here in the real world and the sim. Just tell us a little bit about how cool that is.
Oh, that's amazing. Of course, the car I'm driving in real life is an SR3. It's not that powerful as an SR10, but the experience in terms of like a car with a short wheelbase, very agile under braking, it's the same. And it really requires that your reaction times are good and that your driving technique is on point. So yeah, it's such a nice experience.
Well, you've got a grid to get to, so we'll let you go. But we appreciate the time. Congrats on the win in the sprint, and good luck here in the feature.
Thank you so much, guys. Have fun.
That is your race winner tonight. He's looking for a second at Suelio Almeida, back here at Mosport to where he won earlier in the year, and he returns to BiS Victory Lane. Well, the 5-minute warm-up session has drawn to a close, so allow us to reintroduce you to your starting grid, and it includes the top 10 inverts. So front row will go to finishers 10 and 9 from the sprint. It means that Sam Trentopoulos will start from pole and Assad Nakatembev going to be alongside in second. It'll drop Matthew Howard and Timothy Salvatore back to row 2. They're going to start in third and fourth position, and then back on row 3, it'll be Joey Haynes P5 and Ozzy Milwane in P6. Now the drivers who really get the short end of the stick on the invert. Row number 4, Zach Buchanan will be starting from 7th. Caven Norris going to be alongside in 8th. And then the biggest names, Arnaud Genet goes 2nd to 9th courtesy of the invert. And your sprint race winner, Suelio Almeida, going to be right in the thick of it all. Midfield starting P10.
Certainly is 11th place for this rerun, of course, in our grid. We'll see Michael Broomhead up there. We have Graham Loban. We have Robert Covey in 13th. 14th, Daniel Salmon. 15th, Cedric O'Hannian. Curtis James, 16th. Daniel Zaccarelli, 17th. Ben Lade is in 18th with Burgess in 19th. 20th is going to be Harmon. We have Gerard in 21st. Swindell's 22nd. Sutherland and Amaro, your last two.
So let's look at the bottom at your starting grid. Clock ticks away, and they'll get one more opportunity to be able to take a trip around this racetrack before we go racing for the final 30 minutes of this championship. It all started back in November with a Suelio Almeida Pro category win. He started the night with one. Can he go for the double? Oh, we've seen a couple of drivers do so this season. Alex Ellis and Ozzy Milwane have been able to do the double in terms of winning both the sprint and the feature race. When we're talking about drivers from that pro class championship on the AM side of things, Tim Salvatore and Zach Buchanan have been able to go for the double. Could Suelio possibly add his name to that list? And my takeaway from chatting with him in between, Rachel, was that, again, to the point that we kind of figured out up here in the booth, it is not just simply as get the draft, pull out a line, and make the pass. That headwind that they were dealing with down the straightaway meant that you could suck up to the car in front of you pretty quick. But when you dive out to make the move, it kind of stalls you out pretty quickly, and that's why he was able to lead that entire thing. I don't think we're going to see somebody lead every single lap in this 25 lap or so feature. Knock on wood, you never know. But I think that's a good thing to keep in mind as you go on board with all of these on-board cameras we have, and a lot of smiles throughout the field. These drivers are pretty loose headed into this feature.
Yeah, they certainly are, and I guarantee we won't see someone lead the whole thing because they have to pit. So invariably they can't lead the whole race. But semantics aside, yeah, I think we'll definitely see some change with this. We'll see some shifting. I definitely think it's a defender's race to win. And considering the wind conditions we're looking at, yeah, no, I absolutely agree that 15 mile an hour, 60 mile an hour wind from the east is huge. That is a massive impact on these cars.
And we'll see how that one continues to play through. I have not had to say this yet in a race, but it is worth noting, no threat of rain. It's a new thing. You got to check the conditions. I was looking at the forecast. I don't see anything. Clear conditions. It'll get to partly cloudy, I think, a little bit after the checkered flag has flown. So rain is not a concern in Southern Ontario this afternoon. Nikatabev going to be somebody who is fun to watch as well. The youngster in the field has had flashes of brilliance at times this year, has been able to get his name onto the podium. We've talked with him on occasion, and you saw how aggressive he was. He's not going to let anybody go or let anybody by without challenge. Putting him on the front row is going to make sure that this one is an absolute treat. We're happy that you've been with us all season long, and we're happy that you're with us now for the final green flag of the season. Pace car gonna dive to pit road. Trentopoulos and Nikatabev in control. Let's go racing at Bowmanville.
Big start here into turn one. Some hectic running towards the front group here, but everyone making it through one piece of cars on the grass, but they get themselves back in line here. No incidents this time by. Lucky, and down they go through turn two, in towards three. It's a dogfight as we got some big shifting around this top five.
And that was Matthew Howard who had a mistake, and somebody is off track towards the rear. It's Robert Covey behind the hill in the bank down to Moss Corner. He goes off track. Relatively clean start, though, for everybody else. And now up front, Trentopoulos breaking the draft in the number one spot. Behind him, Nikatabev and others lined up as here we go. They make the first trip down the Mario Andretti straightaway.
Yeah, they do, and it's going to be that same impact for the win there. Big impact to that. It will really change how they can really operate this. I think you're going to have to try and look at moves in other places, because this just ain't going to be it.
He's able to close in, but enough of a gap for race leader Trentopoulos that Nikatebev's got nothing brewing. Side by side, maybe back in 9th or 10th or so, but no widespread passing opportunities amongst the leaders as Trentopoulos continues a fantastic start.
Yeah, he's had a really good run so far. I'm really impressed with this. He's held this thing in place, but big moves here by Milwan. He is absolutely going for this thing, and he's looking pretty strong with where his positioning is right now. Of course, points in his side.
And to that point with Milwane, of course, getting points and being able to extend his championship lead to 34 points over a two-way tie between the stationary Alex Ellis, not in the field here tonight. Arnaud Genet is here. Genet likely to get second in the championship, but I think it is enough of a gap that it is almost locked up for Ozzy Milwane in terms of being the pro class driver champion. We'll know for sure at the end. A bit of a contact there once, now twice. That's Kevin Norris, who got overzealous and spins off and into the Armco barrier to the right-hand side.
Unfortunate placement for that to happen, of course. But a 2x2 at the very front here, just behind them. There's Milwane there getting into position, but not Milwane, sorry, I should say. Assad and Sam really pushing this thing, but it's going to be Ozzy driving these guys.
Yeah, I think Ozzy Milwane knows the point situation. He knows that this championship on the pro side of things is his, but that is not going to scare him away from being an aggressive driver in this one, and we would expect nonetheless. We will watch this battle all the way down to the end as Milwane's been able to drive from P6 to P2 with the pass on Nikatabev, and now can he put that pro class 14 to the top spot? He is going to try to set up that 33 at Trentopoulos for the move as they come back down. Left-hand bank, turn 4, double apexer for Moss Corner. Can he get close enough to the gearbox and Ken Milwane make a dive for the race lead?
Early, but he can take a look at it. I think it's one of the chances where you really can, but just where he is right now, he's looking like he could have a chance at this one. Will he go for it? You really need to get a pass started early here on Moss. And again, once you pull out to the left there, you're actually on a steep incline, so it hurts even more. He has to hang you around the outside here of 7. And he does. He clears him.
Clears him. He is through into the race lead. Goes Milwain, who is on the road to standing on the top spot of the championship podium as the pro class title holder in 2023-2024. It wants to end it with an exclamation point. We did not see at any point in that sprint race your eventual race winner, Suelio Almeida, pull away. There was always the draft. There was always the threat. Milwain trying to blitz those cars behind him and build a comfortable advantage.
We'll see if he can. He's pulled out a bit here, and that could be very telling, but we do need to see him actually try and get clear. If he can break that draft, that would be the big tell.
He's kind of right on the cusp. You see the interval goes up. Oh, there's contact for second. That was Trentopoulos, who gets moved around after a touch, I think, from Asad Nakatambev. So contact for second and third. Sam not happy on the radio. It's going to drop him down to P8.
That is what you want to miss happening in a race like this, unfortunately. As Nakatambev will come through there as our defensive move there. We could see something stick around. And it's going to be the 10 there of Almeida up to second place. Here he comes.
Trentopoulos not one of the drivers in the championship battle, so no championship implications, but still disappointed with the contact nonetheless. And with Almeida now making his way through, to your point, to second, can he repeat? Can he go for the win? 1.4 seconds, though. Again, that's no discredit to Suelio. In fact, oh, and now more contact and another spinner. That time it is Assad. Last lap in that corner, he made contact with Trentopoulos. This time, he was on the receiving end of Ascend as he gets spun off of the bumper of Matthew Howard.
This definitely seeming a bit more tumultuous this time around, so we'll hopefully get a chance to chat to one or two of the other drivers. Oh, that's
and that is going to be just about it. Yeah, for Assad. Car might have been damaged, got a little bit too much curb, went off the racetrack, and it was a concrete barrier. Very unforgiving and a tough end maybe to the night for him. Meanwhile, all of this battling going on for what is turned into about third on back. A whole lot of race cars stacked up nose to nose as they head through the final couple of corners and back onto the front straightaway. Look at this group lined up. They're all chasing that seafoam green and black. Number 99, Joey Haynes, but he's got 3 of those kind of dark red maroon cars lined up behind him. It's Salvatore, James, and Howard on the hunt.
Certainly is them, and they're doing a very good job of it here as Salvatorians do try to get themselves into a spot, but they have to be very careful not to make a mistake here. We've seen quite a few already, and they are not away from this race. These guys will need to focus on getting this done. And Evan, whereabouts are we seeing this pit stop? Of course, this is 30 minutes. We've got about 10, I think, in. When do they go?
I'm thinking based on what we've seen in other races this year, we'll see them pit pretty much right on the money at halfway. There's going to be some variance again, but I think this pit stop is more of an opportunity to lose it as opposed to win it. And we'll see if that proves to be true. Almost losing it with a mistake in Moss corner was Curtis James. Went wide into the dirt, and it's going to allow the challenge up the inside by the blue and yellow 40 of Zach Buchanan. Not clear. Now trying to go a long way around. Look at that. Side by side through all 3 corners in the S's. Buchanan gets it in the end. That is a mighty piece of driving between those two.
Yeah, absolutely is, and it will make a difference for his race. Right now, just keep a quick like on where our leader is. Ozzy Milvain is he's the guy. He's got that gap 1.3 now. He's good here. This is what he needed. He's broken free from Almeida. He will have a tough time catching up to him.
Yeah, it's going to be hard without that draft, right? Almeida kind of expectedly was going to lose some time making passes. I don't think the doubt was ever there that Suelio had the speed, because he could certainly obviously make the passes to win the sprint race. But the challenge is, okay, you've gotten around 8 cars. That's impressive. But now you're fighting the stopwatch, right? There's a time cost associated with every pass you make. And those passes have put him at a 1.4 second disadvantage to your race leader, Ozzy Milwain. You are not in the draft. He is not going to draft to the 14 car like he would if he was maybe 0.3 of a second back. So the challenge there is he needs to make up at least a couple tenths, if not a full second nearly, Rachel, on just straight pace before the draft will start to help him.
Yeah, no, he will, and that does have to be a big part of this. It's going to be one of those times where you've got to try and get that done in the mechanical corners rather than out there on the straight where you will not be able to catch and pass.
There's some other battles going on track. I want to talk about Zach Buchanan for a minute and where he stands. He entered as the leader in the AM Championship. That's him right there in the middle. He was able to walk away with 12 points in the sprint race. His challenger, Tim Salvatore, walks away with 10. So in the kind of rough estimated points, he's got about an 11-point advantage. But look at that, another near miss for Buchanan in the rear view mirror. He has been very vocal on the radio about how the other cars have been racing him. He feels uncomfortable when he's stuck in a pack like this, but he has to be aggressive because Timothy Salvatore, who is behind him in the points, is ahead of him on the racetrack. So Buchanan looking for another move to the outside of Matthew Howard. Can he get the spot? Yes, sir. Nice pass for the 40 car. Buchanan racing with a championship on the line.
Yeah, really racing like he has something to prove here, and I think we're going to see exactly that from him. He's got to push this thing harder, got to be in a good position, but he has to be careful. It matters.
And you can see his gap to Salvatore on the leaderboard. It's about a 1.6 second difference. There's a lot of time in this race, 20 minutes to go. I'm not going to make a blanket statement and say he's not going to get there, but visually, there are more opportunities right now to lose spots than to gain spots. Howard's behind him. James is behind him. They're going to be nipping at his heels this entire time. Buchanan only has an opportunity to lose positions currently, whereas up the road, Timothy Salvatore doesn't have pressure from behind, but he is all over the back bumper to Joey Haynes. So it's the opposite for Buchanan's rival in the championship. Salvatore, no real opportunity to lose a spot currently unless he has a big error, but he has opportunities to gain a spot. Buchanan's going to watch every position that Salvatore gets up the running order. Is going to be some big points, and took a peek that time on Haynes, but it is not going to happen that time for third.
No, it's really not. This is not where you want to be. But he's going to hold on for the time being, keep this thing in position, and just try and run the race right now. Haynes behind him. Salvatore looking like he's going to run in numbers with him. Just keep in position right now. We're 10 laps in. No one's really going to win anything right now, so it's not a time to make anything stupid happen. They're just going to put this into a nice, good gear and keep these cars running. But keep an eye on our meter here. He's drawn in our leader. He's catching up.
And those intervals have tightened up as you see this battle as well. Back of the pack is on. Caven Norris fighting with John Benvalid. That one for 14th and 15th spot on the racetrack. A couple of cars have gone to the paddock. They're done. It'll include Daniel Zippy Salmon, Robert Burgess, Assad Nakanambev, Michael Broomhead, Robert Covey out of this race early. But there are still a hearty amount, 17 cars total on the racetrack right now, with battling going on all throughout the field. And I think you're right, Rachel. I think we should jump back up to that top spot in the running order, because we said Suelio would not have the advantage of the draft until he did it on straight pace, and he has done so within 0.6 of a second of Ozzie Milwane. He will now certainly be reaping the benefits of that draft down the straightaway.
Yeah, he really will, and that's where you really want to be in that position, is to be in striking range there, because once you've got the grip on the leader, you can just sit and ride. You can save some tire, and then you can just wait for it to be the end of the race here. Because looking at the conditions, it's still looking the same. We've not seen any change to cloud cover. We've not seen any change to the humidity or to our winds, although they have dropped slightly. They're now beginning to just peak down towards 12, 13 miles an hour. That could be a factor.
Hearing as well, drivers starting to talk strategy, that they may actually go beyond halfway and pit after about 17 completed laps on the racetrack. That might be tricky to translate. All you see at the top of the screen there is a timer. These drivers are currently working on lap number 11. So at about 6 laps from now, that would equate to about 7 or so minutes. So I think we may be looking for some cars to come in more so at the 2/3 marker with about 10 minutes left to go on the clock. We'll see if that's the case. Of course, drivers can come down sooner, they can come down later, but everybody has a mandatory pit stop. No ifs, and, or buts. You must come down and complete a pit service stop here in this feature.
Yeah, you absolutely must, and we'll see how that one does unfold, of course. We've got a couple of guys heading pit road. Curtis James down there already, and maybe one or two others looking towards that facade of the race here. But as it stands, everyone else largely out of the racetrack here. We've got Salmon in there as well. He stops down, so I think he's actually off the track at the moment. Repairing damage, possibly. Back in that car, not looking perfect. Race leader is, however, Milwain is absolutely now being dogged by Almeida.
Almeida is there. He made one pass on the opening lap of the sprint race, and he never looked back. Here we go again. Almeida, left-hand side, outside to Ozzy Milwain. Gonna try to drive it deep into turn number 9. He has got it. New race leader is Suelio Almeida. Invert, no problem. 10th to 1st for the driver of the 14 car.
Yeah, fantastic run by him. That's exactly where he wants to be, leading this thing for a 1-2 in this doubleheader tonight. Suelio Almeida can do this. We'll have to pull away from Milvain.
And now can he check out, right? We thought Ozzy was going to be the guy we were talking about. Check it out, Austin Milwain trying to have kind of the victory lap or so to just walk away with the win. Not going to be the case. Zach Buchanan, race leader in the AM Championship standings, is down pit road right on the money. Halfway, 15 minutes down, 15 minutes to go. So he has come down in pit. The question will be, where does Timothy Salvatore, where and when does the 91 car respond? Salvatore was ahead of where his championship counterpart was running in this race. Salvatore was in 4th. We had seen kind of consistently Buchanan in 5th. Does Salvatore respond to the fact that his championship rival just pitted? Let's see. Pit lane's open. He could dive off if he wants to, but he will not. Timothy Salvatore staying out.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see if he can do that, but Salvatore gonna stay with it at the moment, as is Howard, as is Buchanan. Trinopolis as well out there as well. These guys trying to, a couple more hitting the road. So we're starting to see the trickle starting here, Evan. It's not a lot, but it's something as these guys start to get down there, go for that mandatory stop, get it completed, get out of there without any major problems, I think is the goal. But they're going to try and get this one done because it's not the easiest pit road to get on and off. Zuccarelli is an example right now. He's in from 17th. He's finished 4 laps down in the first heat of the tonight's race, but it's a very long stop here for these radicals.
It is, and of course, Genet down pit road as well. We talked about kind of how that plays out for him in terms of the Pro Championship, maybe the battle for 2nd overall with Alex Ellis not in contention tonight. Arnaud looking to take P2 in the championship. Joey Haynes, Kevin Norris, not that far behind him as well. Plenty of drivers going to be up for grabs for 2nd on back, so important pit stops for those cars as well as, again, still your race leaders decide to stay out. It includes Almeida, Milwain, and Haynes, and it includes Salvatore. The big thing here is, I mentioned more of an opportunity to lose than it is to gain, Rachel. There's not a huge amount of fall off, right? We're seeing drivers anywhere between 4 to 5 tenths off some of their fastest laps. I think a lot of that will depend more so on the draft than it is just the tires alone, right? It's not like you got to get down now. You got to get tires, at least based on the feedback we heard. Suelio was certainly wary of it in the sprint, but I don't think anyone's having a major fall off, which is typically what you would see then when everybody would pit at once. The fact that they're kind of trickling in means that they can kind of be a little bit more precise as more cars in and out of pit road. That'll be pit service complete for Richard Swindells. It looks like also off of pit road is Cedric Ohayon.
Yeah, right now it's very much a case of you have to go, so you might as well, rather than needing to. So we're seeing exactly that, and I don't think it'll be too much. We'll see them all one by one. There's no major track position issues either.
It is almost a waiting game of sorts. We heard some drivers were thinking about lap 17 or so again. So you got your halfway markers, 15 down, 15 to go. Others thinking about the 2/3 marker, 20 down, 10 to go. Well, that would mean that I would expect to see some of these top cars down pit road in the next lap or two. And there is Milwane to pit road and Haynes. So big strategy call there. Ozzy Milwane bows out from P2. Does this force Swelio to respond and pit next time? In and out, and a clean pit stop is the 14 of Milwane.
Very quick compared to some people, so definitely just fuel for him.
And trying to find his lap time for Ozzy Milwane, or his delta time, I should say, down on pit road, as he's going to be able to blend back out. 6th on the racetrack, 9.7 seconds in the box. Some have jumped as many as 11.4 in the case of Eric Harmon. Some, though, as short as an 8.3 for Joey Haynes. So some quick stops, some slower stops. Again, getting in and out of pit road as well. The lap prior to and the lap following also plays a factor in how well you can complete your pit cycle. And our race leader is headed to pit road. Suelio Almeida down to the pit lane. He was not that far ahead of Milwane when he came down to pit, so it'll be interesting to see as Salvatore also second in the AM Championship responds. He pits from P2 on track. Where does Almeida blend back out onto the racetrack in relation to Ozzy Milwane?
Yeah, this will be the important part. Where will he filter out here? So I have to see exactly what it is. He's coming off pit road now. Where's Mr. Milwane? He's behind him. Yeah, a big advantage, Almeida.
If anything, he gains. That's right. Not only was it not any time lost, but I think it's going to be time gained for Ozzy Milwane. We are still waiting on, as everything cycles through, Milwane will gain in terms of overall time, but Almeida, the driver who gains overall for the gap in first and second. And just doing a quick look through the run order, I think that will complete all of the pit service. So that's a big win for Almeida, right? That was only an opportunity for things to go poorly. It was all in his favor, and he does not put a foot wrong. And Suelio now has broken the draft on Milwane, and Milwane put in a situation that Suelio was in earlier. No drafting help. Can you find raw pace to get that gap down to about 0.7 of a second where the draft will start to help you out?
You know, I think, Evan, we've got a chance to chat to some of these guys here, Mike Broomhead and Daniel Salmon. We're going to have a chat with them whilst we're on these last couple of runs here.
Yeah, of course, some of the names who make things happen behind the scenes here at this BiS Wednesday nights, this Radical Cup Canada series, and we'll welcome Molth, Mike, and Daniel Zippy Salmon into the booth. Gentlemen, we appreciate the time, and we appreciate not only you guys putting on the show for us week by week, giving us the time to chat, but also everything you guys do behind the scenes. We've been racing for this Radical Championship since November, Mike. We're back to where it all started here at Mosport, and we've got some convincing storylines for some of the top spots in the points for both the pro and the AM drivers right now.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Obviously, we're here rather than racing, so there's that. But at the same time, it's it's getting close. Obviously, Tim and Zach are having a battle right now. We don't know how that's going to play out, but I think I have it that Buchanan has 8 points over Tim right now. But Ozzy's doing what he needs to do in pro. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. So unofficially, I think he's in control. But you never know. As Murray would say, oh. We just had Salvatore go around. Continue.
Yeah, that's big. Timothy Salvatore, we're just talking about those two in the championship battle, and it is a mistake from the challenger. Salvatore was ahead in that battle. He and Buchanan were side by side on track, and there was contact that sent Timothy Salvatore into the tires, and that is going to increase the buffer that was already in favor of Zach Buchanan. Zippy, I mentioned it was entertaining. Well, those were the top two cars in the championship side by side and getting together for those AM drivers.
Oh, it's definitely a high stakes race, and you can feel it on the track as well. Everybody's a little bit tighter, like myself included, definitely a little bit more passionate and enthusiastic. You know, the tension is running high, and especially a track like Mosport as well. I mean, exit speed is just so crucial. I mean, you know as well as I do, and you know, it's so difficult just try and rein yourself in and just try and keep in control. But you know, it's been an absolutely fantastic season, and I've got to say thank you for everybody in the podium as well for taking part and joining us on this journey.
I know we've enjoyed being a part of it through the year, not only in these radicals, but everything else that you guys have going on. And I think the unique thing about this Radical Cup Canada Series, Mike, of course, is the tie-in with Radical Canada East and the fact that both of our champs at the end of the night, the pro drivers, the AM drivers, get an opportunity to experience a real-world radical experience. And the very cars that we're driving here on the service, that is certainly one of the most unique opportunities, I think, anywhere in the sim.
Yeah, we're really happy to bring this to this series. But Rob Burgess has been racing with us tonight. He's been gracious enough to put that up, and it's you know, we're really looking forward to it. It's going to be quite the event, and we'll obviously record it for the next one. But I just want to announce that, of course, we'll be back. Rob's quite happy to continue doing this at Radicals, so we'll be back for another season in next season. So obviously watch out for the signups for that, and maybe you too can take a shot at getting this radical experience.
Yeah, someone who took a shot there through Moss Corner was Cedric Rahayan. He was digging hard at a battle for P10, spun around. That yields the spot as Caven Norris and Matthew Howard are going to be able to get on by. And Zippy, it's not just these radicals that are coming back, but there is so much more with BIS that all's happening in the Discord. The QR code's on the screen, but even short-term future IndyCar's coming.
Oh, absolutely, and it's going to be a fresh one for us as well. Obviously, iRacing doing the right thing and getting IndyCar back on the service where it belongs. Thank you very much. And you know, we're going to be doing our own season for that. You're going to have, you know, we're going to have some shorter races as well, so stuff a little bit more on this line as well. But we're also going to have our first ever BIS endurance as part of that as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. But I admit I'm going to be staying off the track on that one, and very likely joining you in the booth.
Well, they keep me off the track for a reason, so you're more than welcome to sit up here on keep the bench warm with me, because nobody wants me anywhere near an IndyCar, despite the fact that the IndyCars may be my favorite car on the service, and I'm so happy I can say that word again on these broadcasts. Yeah, I think I'll stick to the booth, gents. Listen, we appreciate everything you guys do on the track, in the booth, behind the scenes, all season long, guys. We appreciate you guys jumping in and chatting, and we'll be talking soon.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
That's Daniel Zippy Salmon, as well as Mike Broomhead, some of the league administration team here with the BIS Formula 1600 Championship Series. And again, a lot still to come later this year, even in a couple of weeks' time on the BIS side of things. Meanwhile, under 4 minutes to go on the race clock, Sueli Almeida's advantage has swollen up to 4.5 seconds over Ozzy Milwain. Obviously, the incident with Timothy Salvatore Rachel is going to put the AM Championship firmly in the grasp of Zach Buchanan. If he could keep it clean from P3 to the end of this race, there are only about 3 laps to go this next time by. But I think maybe for Buchanan, more than anybody else, when you talk about the points scenario, going to be a long 3 laps for Zach just to make sure he keeps it clean.
Absolutely is going to be a huge number of laps for him. It was the longest 3 laps of his life with this as the result, of course, the prize these guys are looking for. So I think he'll definitely be very, very tired of this. Now, we'll see exactly how these guys played out, but Almeida, clean run from him. Ozzy, clean run. Zach is looking pretty open, so he just has to keep it clean, not put it in on the green stuff, and he will take this.
Unofficial points look like a 37-point advantage. Milwain to Joey Haynes, who has taken a big step up, running 4th on track right now. Haynes, unofficially, only a single point ahead of Arnaud Genet for 2nd and 3rd in the pro standings. Caven Norris not that far behind as well. So when it's a single point in the balance and it's unofficial, that could still change in the final 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And in the AM class, again, with Buchanan outrunning Salvatore, his objective was pretty clear. Coming into this one, you're the points leader. You got to finish ahead of your championship rival. He's doing that right now. Things are tilting in favor of Zach Buchanan on the live points. But if it only came down to running numbers and logging hot laps, well, we wouldn't race for 15 minutes and 30 minutes. It is not done until the checkered flag flies. And there is going to be 2 laps to go, this time by for Suelio Almeida and company. Here's the battle with Haynes and Janae. Huge championship implications for these two. It is second in the pro standings on the line right here.
It absolutely is second, and wow, it's running in here, but Haynes making a move here on the 99. That's 9 times being passed up, I should say, by the 123 of Genet. I don't think it'll make a difference here, unfortunately, as this one goes through to the actual final numbers. Buchanan's still far enough ahead.
That pass by Genet should swing 2 points in favor of him. 2 points less for Haynes. That should move Genet from 3rd to 2nd in the Pro Championship. So if Haynes wants that silver medal, he's going to have to get back to the bumper of Genet before this one is said and done. But that was a blistering sector for the 123 car. I don't know if he's going to be able to catch Arnaud. Second to last time down the Mario Andretti straightaway. 3rd car watching on as well. Curtis James, not a factor in this specific championship battle, but is a car and his points that could play a factor depending on how these cars cross the start-finish line. But up front, the white flag is in the air for Suelio Almeida.
Certainly is, and one more time around here through turn 2, he comes to run this last bit through the lap here. Not a lot of time, of course, for him, but it will be the last, and again, almost a long one for him too, but Mozzie Milwain behind him. One more time for him, and he is the champion, of course, of the Pro Series. Buchanan as well, looking to be a fantastic end of the season, a quiet end of the season, as long as these guys can keep it on the track.
Yeah, big storylines for all of the cars running 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at the moment. That's Buchanan hoping to take this one to the end without incident. But let's head to the straightaway one final time and bring them all home. That's the gap between Almeida and Milwain, but they have different objectives. Almeida not competing for a points championship, a limited time schedule, looking to be just the 3rd driver in the pro class to pull off a sweep this season. Started the year with a race win here at Mosport, won the sprint. He doubles up with the feature. Almeida wins the season finale at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Behind him, Ozzie Milwain, 2nd in the feature, wins the pro championship. And in 3rd, Zach Buchanan, P3 in the feature, winning the AM championship.
Fantastically done there for these guys, locking it up with a great end to this season. And wow, this track made them earn it.
Yeah, they're not wasting any time to get to the burnouts, and that's Suelio doing some celebrating, and why not Arnaud jump in on the celebration? Arnaud Genet get to celebrate as well. In the end, he may end up losing 2nd in the championship. We'll see if that's how it plays out or not. Joey Haynes there with points. Again, we'll see how those last couple of passes happened, but it is now official from the tower. Ozzie Milwain Pro, Zach Buchanan AM, those are your champions for this 2023-24 BiS Radical Cup Canada Series. Celebrations will be ongoing, and we'll talk with those drivers in just a few.
Certainly has brought us a fantastic end to this season here. Of course, these guys really did a good job, and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
I think the final couple of cars have trickled over the start-finish line, so let's take a look and see your full race results for our final feature race on the day. Almeida gets another win. It's his first perfect event of the day. He goes for the sweep. 5.9. He put it to Ozzie Milwain, the champ, nonetheless. In the end, Buchanan 3rd, I think that's a good excuse to talk with all of them in just a moment. Janae and Haynes, 4th and 5th, with Salvatore, James, Norris, Trentopoulos, and Gerard, the top 10.
11th place tonight will be Swindells with Ohayon in 12th, Harmon 13th, Howard is 14th there, Loban is 15th with Zuccarelli, Benlade, Covey, Burgess, Salmon. So top 20. 21st will be Nikobayev with Broomhead, Sutherland, and Amaro, 24th.
And that's a look top to bottom at our full race results. So why don't we start with your race winner and to go in order. And it is a second win on the night for Suelio Almeida. We talked with him earlier after the sprint race, and he has got another one. Feature race winner at Mosport. Congratulations, bouncing back from the invert, 10th to 1st, and did it with about 5 seconds in your back pocket.
Yeah, that was nice. That was fun. That was clean. Some nice, tricky moments there, fighting for position, but in the end, we all survived. And again, it was about patience, saving the tires, saving a little bit of fuel, kind of overfueled, lost a second on the pits. But yeah, I was like, this is a long race. Let's try to be very careful. And it paid off.
Of course, there was a moment in time where you would have gotten almost all of the passing done. You would have gotten up to second, and I think you were chasing Ozzy at that time, and the gap was a little bit out of the draft, right? Touch over a second or so. And unlike almost every battle for position we saw in the sprint, where it came down to the toe, you were going to need to catch him on pace to get within that draft for that to then help you out. Where did you find that speed? Where do you feel like you were able to make up that time to get within striking distance?
I think it's just a mental thing. I was very consistent. I was actually pretty proud of the laps and essentially doing like 11 highs the whole race. And I saw that Ozzy's lap time started to drop just ever so slightly. Maybe, I don't know, he was not saving tires, or maybe he started like losing a little bit of focus. But it was mostly not changing anything, not getting in your head, not getting tired, just like being very relaxed and taking your time. And eventually, like, yeah, he got closer and I got into the draft. And then after that, it was just a little bit of pressure and the move was done.
Of course, to be able to, I can safely say, looking back at the results from earlier in the season, walking away as one of, if not the only driver to get overall 3 different race wins at a single track. And of course, you got the one in the opening week. And then you take both tonight, one of only 3 drivers on the pro side of things to take a perfect night, win the sprint, win the feature. What does that mean for you? And maybe do we see this 10 car competing maybe for a full-time championship at some point here?
Yeah, absolutely. That means it's a signal for me to come back stronger in sim racing, because it's been this year has been difficult to participate in more events and to handle the time and the agenda with the real life racing. But I really want to come back more, add a few more 5 to 10 hours a week in the sim, because I know it's gonna help me in real life. And also just, it's fun. It's amazing, like to have the time and to take care of myself and let me have fun in the sim as well, instead of only working. So yeah, I think, like the sim scene is always growing. There's no denying on that. And, you gotta do your part, introduce even more people to the sim, and, make it happen like it does, like it is happening because of you guys right now.
We appreciate you putting on a show, because I don't think it's quite as entertaining for us for these races if we don't have the top talent like yourself here competing. We'll let you get out of here, but first, sponsors, shout outs, whoever you want to say hi or thanks to.
Well, first of all, thank you for all the sponsors of the series itself. Thank you for Mike for setting this up. This is amazing. And I want you guys to do it again next year, because I'm going to be here. And that's it. Thank you to I'm going to talk about my own sponsor, which is the Motor Racing Checklist, my online course that has been the reason I am actually racing in real life. It's because that course has been so successful. And if you're like an advanced driver and you want to get to the top detail, I give it a try, because you're going to be surprised.
We appreciate all of that. And again, congratulations on the success here. Best of luck in the real world endeavors as well. And we look forward to chatting to you again soon.
Thank you, man.
That is your 2 times race winner here on the afternoon. Suelia Almeida takes home the race win in this season finale. Well, we'll continue on down now. Let's go P2 on the grid. Rachel, you'll be standing by with Ozzy Milwane, who does enough tonight to play defense and walks away as our points championship in the pro title.
Yes, I do. Thank you very much. Ozzy Milwane coming home tonight with the championship from our points perspective here for the Pro Series. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. It was a nerve-wracking couple of races there because I just wanted to keep it clean. I didn't need top results, but yeah, came with the second there, and yeah, I'm happy with that.
Well, you don't want it to be bad, but you also want to make sure you do a good job too. Just tell me about this race and how much effort you're putting in terms of wanting to finish versus finish well.
Yeah, actually, this was one of the races I put in the most time with, just with the circumstances, with me leading the championship and there a possibility of losing it. But yeah, I mean, it's a fun track. I know the track very well. It's kind of my home track, I guess. But yeah, it worked out in the end.
Certainly did. Congratulations, by the way, on winning your radical experience, as far as we know. Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, of course. I haven't had too much car experience. I did an F2000 test, like one of those Bridgestone cars at Mosport there. I did a test in one of those, and that's about it. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that, and I got to thank Rob for giving us that opportunity, and obviously Mike for putting on the series.
Awesome. Well, I guess that sorts out the people you want to thank and shout out. So thanks for joining us. Ozzy Milwane coming home with the win in the points today.
And let's talk to the other driver who's going to be walking out of here with some hardware. It is the champion for the AM category. Zach Buchanan, third in the feature race, is enough to secure that championship. Zach, congratulations. And I know there were many stressful points in this race. We were following you in all of those battles, and seemed like every time we checked in, you were getting hit from behind or 2 wide, 3 wide. You had to earn that one.
Yeah, no kidding. It was a tough one for sure. I feel like I did everything about as good as I personally could have done. So I'm pretty happy with how I ended up in the end.
Yeah, I think it's hard to complain when the results for the season finale is P1 in class in the sprint, P1 in class in the feature. Kind of hard to top that. What was the mindset coming into this? Were you at all considering what the gap is with the guys behind you, or was it as simple as, if I finish first in everything, they can't get me?
Well, I thought it would be pretty smooth sailing. I know Tim is quick, so I knew it was going to be pretty tight still with him. But like even then, I went into the mindset thinking I just gotta either beat him or finish right behind in both races, and we're good. But him and his teammates definitely made it as much of a challenge as possible. That's for sure. I could tell his teammates were definitely trying to put some space between me and him during the race, and I'm glad I was able to overcome that challenge.
These races are sprints, essentially, right? A 15-minute dash, even the feature, a 30-minute dash. You've found success in a lot of the kind of long-form endurance stuff here on the sim. Daytona 24 win, you got 2 wins in the Bathurst 1000. But to be able to put together a whole season here in these radicals and to claim a series championship, I'm sure that's got to feel good, as having been consistent and been able to be in the conversation every week.
Definitely. This is probably the best overall season I've had in the league, and I'm really happy with how I ended up. There's still places I could work on, especially my starts. I feel like I was a little too conservative, but I guess you got to be there at the end to score well, right? So that's not always a bad thing.
Yeah, I would say the results speak highly of whatever the strategy implemented was. And of course, for not only yourself, but Ozzy as well, the grand prize in all of this is a radical experience courtesy of Robert Burgess in Radical Canada. What's the outlook on that? Have you driven anything like that in the real world? I'm sure you're excited.
No, the fastest car I've ever driven was a Tesla on like a show run. And I mean, that was fast. The guy, the Tesla dude who was in the passenger seat, put it on insane mode or whatever it is. So that was pretty fast. But I've never had an experience like that. So if all goes to plan, I'm looking forward to that for sure.
We want to say a big thanks to Robert from Radicals Canada for providing that, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy
Yes,
it.
thank
Zach,
you.
well, we've got you. Sponsors, shout outs, anybody else you want to say hi to?
I do want to shout out everyone I raced this season in the AM class. Tim, Diego, Michael, John. John, especially tonight, definitely helped me out tonight. He helped me in qualifying, so it was a really great season. I also just want to thank Mike tonight. Mike was on top of the box tonight, helping me out, eyes in the sky, and my girlfriend Arena for being there for me and letting me do this on Wednesday nights.
We appreciate all of those people who put in the time to support you, Zach, and we appreciate you as well. I said it to Swelio as well. I mean, it wouldn't quite be as fun for us to come up here and watch people like myself drive. So I appreciate you guys putting on a show and making it exciting. Again, congratulations on the championship.
Thank you, guys.
That is your third place finisher in the feature. But again, it is an AM category win and a title for Zach Buchanan. And in the end, Rachel, again, we'll wait for official points, but Arnaud Genet, the late race pass on Joey Haynes, that was for 4th and 5th on track. That's a 4-point swing because Arnaud gained 2, Haynes lost 2, and that went from a Haynes +1 for second in the pro points to a Haynes -3, and the benefit to Genet. Again, we'll wait for the official points to confirm that for sure, but we're talking about positions after 8 weeks, 16 races worth of points coming down to single digits.
Yeah, wild racing, and shows just how balanced the season's been that they managed to put on such a fantastic show.
And although this championship is done, there is more coming up with BiS on a podium in different cars, though. Next Wednesday, a special event that is open to all members. Again, we've kind of plugged the QR code and the promo code. If you want to get in on it, you still can. King of the Mountain at Bathurst at Mount Panorama. That one in the Formula 1600 is going to be a blast, Rachel. Next Wednesday, March the 27th, a special event.
Can't wait to see that one. It's going to be exciting.
Some beautiful sights and sounds. And of course, for that event, for this event and all the events, want to say one more trip of thanks around the leaderboard to all of our partners who make tonight's broadcasts possible. And it all starts at the top with Radical Canada East. Are you ready to elevate your racing experience? Join the M Zone Radical Cup Canada, where the thrill of the track meets the camaraderie of a true motorsports community. Contact Robert Burgess, that's Robert at radicalcanada.ca to get started. We'll also say thanks to our friends at MZone, emzone.ca. Their auto care offers premium quality products for the maintenance, care, and cleaning of cars, trucks, boats, and other vehicles and equipment. Learn more at mzone.ca. As well, one final thanks to our friends at FEL Motorsports. FEL Motorsports has over 3 decades of experience in executing premium automotive events from top-tier manufacturers across Canada and the United States. You can learn more with them at felmotorsports.com. Well, until next time, that is it. One more reminder, King of the Hill next week. Scan the QR code, get involved. That's on deck next Wednesday. And the BiS IndyCar Championship is coming. You are not going to want to miss that. Wednesday nights with BiS on podium is the place to be. But until then, that is it for us here tonight from Bowmanville. On behalf of our entire team here at Podium, for everybody behind the scenes at the BiS, for Mike Broomhead, for Daniel Zippy Salmon, all their partners and everybody who helps them out, and of course, for our broadcast team here tonight. For our producer, Christian Hill, for Rachel Whiteford, and myself, Evan Pasoko, want to say thanks for tuning in, and congratulations to our champions, Ozzie Milwane and Zach Buchanan. Take home the titles. That is it for this 2023-24 BiS Radical Cup Canada Series Championship. We will catch you next time on Podium.
Why radical? We build race cars. We race iconic tracks. We set lap records. We build friendships. 3, 4. We create champions. We make racers.
Ever witnessed someone so fast on track you doubt you could ever be on their level? The mission of Advanced Motorsports is to demonstrate the speed is achievable for everyone. With the expertise of some of the best sim drivers in North America, we are set to release free content on social media and comprehensive guides on our website. For those seeking the ultimate experience, our Advanced Motorsport Institute and personalized coaching sessions are the way to go. No matter your level of experience, we invite you to follow us on our social media to learn to be fast.
Hey there, I'm Nicholas Dubois, co-founder of Advanced Sim Racing. We are a Canadian company. So what we did here today is for a real petrol head. He's really passionate about cars, as you can see behind me. We did a turnkey solution for him based on his needs. We try to gather as much information as we can on our client. And like we did today, we install a D-box system. We install ultra-wide cube control steering wheel. We try to provide the best quality for your budget. So let's say if you want a budget of 10 grand, we're gonna give you something that's the best for 10 grand. If you want 20 grand, then we always try to stay within your boundaries. We do try to make it as easy as possible. So the client, once we install everything, it's pretty much gonna be a turnkey. So he's gonna press start on his computer, and right after, we'll try to explain everything, how it goes, how it works, and then he's ready to go. Our aluminum is from USA, treated in Canada, cut in Canada. So we do sand all our aluminum piece just to make sure the powder coat sticks to it. And that's one of the reasons why we use powder coat, is to make sure you have the best aluminum finish in the industry. And our quality is beyond what you can get with any other competitors right now. We are really, really passionate about all the gear, all the cockpits, all the sim hardware, and that's why we want to create something that's really going to reflect our passion into our product. Come visit us at advancedsimracing.com. You can always reach us if you have any questions. You can call us, you can text us, you can go on Facebook, like our page, ask us questions over there, and we'll make sure to answer every questions there is. We are very passionate about what we do, and we try to make it as easier for you to go into the sim racing world, because there's a lot of gear, there's a lot of options, but let us guide you through your process, and let's hope you'll be an Advanced Sim Racing customer.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.